Hello, everybody. It's a damn good day to talk about crypto, isn't it? So let's hop right into it. And I want to tell you, no, the title is not clickbait. I 100% plan on selling crypto this month. I plan on selling some of it. Let's clarify. There's no way in flying hell that I'm going to be selling all my crypto in September. But I do expect and plan on selling some of it. So in this video, I want to touch upon a little bit as to why I think I'm going to sell in September even though it's nowhere close to the peak. Let me make that clear. I don't think we're anywhere close to the peak. Then why the hell would I think I'm going to sell some this month? Good question. I'll get into there. In short, I think I can make more money by selling some of certain crypto of mine. Mhm. And it's all if everything lines up well. And by everything, one of those big things is rate cuts. I think you should have a plan of if the rate cut happens. It keeps going back and forth estimate of what, somewhere between 80% and 97% likely to get a rate cut. Awesome. It's probably going to happen. What if it doesn't? Right? You should still have a plan in mind of what you're going to do if it doesn't occur, because it very well, all of crypto, I was going to say go to shit. No, it's going to drop for sure, but have a plan in case. Those are the only two scenarios, right? On the 17th, they're going to have a rate cut or they're not. You can plan for two different things, and I recommend you do. I've been having more and more of you guys ask me what I'm doing with my personal portfolio. And since I do not have a Discord, nor do I plan on having one in the near future, I want to give you guys little routine updates about what I'm doing and briefly why. We'll start there today. And if you're not interested in that, go ahead and just fast forward the next, 90 seconds ahead, and we'll get into what I'm thinking about September and why I think you should think about it. So on that note, let's hop right in and let's talk, guys. So briefly first, let's talk about what the heck I've done with my portfolio for you guys who are curious and keep asking me. One, I appreciate it. Let me know what you're doing too. For those who have commented, you know I'm right in there with you guys. We'll chat, we'll discuss, we'll get a little stressed out, and then also be happy together. Okay. So what I did this last week is, you guys know I like setting buy limits. Right? When there's a price of the crypto that I want to get into, I will go on an exchange, set my limit, and then whenever it hits, it hits. And I swear it's always when I'm freaking sleeping. Right? But I had a small buy order for Quant got hit. I had a small order for Kadi got hit, and a small order for ASM that got hit. Awesome. I own a little bit more of all of them. I'm not upset about it. I am done buying crypto for the most part until if there's a large decrease. I'm not sold there will be, but I'm ready in case. I'm more ready to take profits, right? The other thing I did this week roughly was I got into a Solana trade. Right? I did this before. I like little mini trades. This one is more of a spot trade, not so much with leverage, because I don't want to play so much with the timing and the multiples and everything right now. But I got into Solana. I know it was $200. It was 197, I think, when I got into it. And I have a recurring buy now for Solana every week. I was doing that with Quant. I switched over to Solana short term. I'll still be buying more Quant, I'm pretty sure. And I'm just going to be buying a little bit of Solana every week until it hits $220. And I plan on selling it right after it does its first bump over the all-time highs. So just to get to all-time high was $300, right? I think it was like $294. So that'll be a 33% increase from where we are right now. And I've got the sell limit set. I think it was for around 318. It was a little less than 320 because I don't want to wait until it touches that all-time high. I'm okay if it bounces on the ceiling a couple of times, because when it goes, it usually flies. It didn't happen with Ethereum, but it's because the all-time high was so close to the 5K mark. I definitely think it's a mental block. And it could bounce off Solana's 300 a couple of times. I'll be ready by 320. So those are the big changes I made. Not big, but that's what I did this week. Now let's get into why I say I'm going to sell in September, which ones, and the what if not scenario. Okay, guys. So a lot of this involves if we have the rate cut that is expected. Okay, and when I say I'm going to sell some of my crypto, it's one or two specific ones, and it's only some of it. I want to take profits, some, pretty much clear out my initial investment, so to speak, take a little bit of profit before everyone else thinks it's time to sell, as well as when I'm already up pretty decently, right? You guys have probably heard me say this before if you watched a couple of videos. I got three very kind of sarcastic, but also very duh rules. In crypto, do not lose money, make money, have a goal and make the goal amount of money, right? And it's in that order. And I'm already kind of set up myself pretty well to where I can't lose money. Great. Now I want to make sure that I make money. And for anyone who right now is thinking or has even said out loud, he's selling too early, dipshit, blah, blah, blah. One, I don't care what people over the internet say to me. You should only care so much about what I say. Very little, in fact, right? Take thoughts and make your own opinions, people. But if you, in my opinion, if people are telling you you're selling too early, as long as you're in profit, you know you're not selling too late, right? Again, that might sound dumb, but again, hear me out. If everyone tells me, hey, you're selling too early, you don't know what you're doing, or you could make so much more money, know that you're going to be one of the few people that's making money if you're selling before everybody else, right? The other flip to that is buying before everybody else. We seem to understand that one more, right? You buy before everyone else, you get better prices. Everyone says that means you make more money. No, that means you can. You actually have to press that fucking sell button, guys. So I plan on starting to sell before most people do. Another part of that, I'm only going to sell if I'm up at least 5x on a crypto, which I've got a couple right now where I'm in that scenario. So those are the ones I'm going to sell some of. Well, let's get a little bit here about this rate cut, right? It is probably going to happen September 17th. Presuming it does, I'm thinking that we're going to have a pretty large increase, actually either way, a couple of days before the Fed meeting on the 17th, called arbitrarily about the 13th. I think prices are going to start going up because people are going to be expecting the rate cut, especially if it's bullish, right? The week of the Fed meeting, if there is one estimate saying 90% chance of rate cut, people are buying. They're going to buy expecting it. People front run the news. So I'm expecting we're going to have some prices raised. It's going to look good that week of the Fed meeting. And then if the rates get cut, I think it's going to go up pretty quick for the next 48 hours, maybe. And then there's going to be a retrace because there almost always is. Right? It's a buy the rumor, sell the news event. And I think that it's going to go up and then probably come back down. And most of our crypto, and we'll say the market in general, will be higher lows. Right? The lows then will be better than the lows now. Cool. And then we can sit there and wait for the next big little bump. And in this situation, there's certain prices I'm expecting crypto to get to, or around about. Right? I won't get them all right, but I just need to be close on some of them. And the big one that people gave me shit last time I sold this at 34-ish cents, and it hasn't gone back up since then, is hbar. I plan on selling some of my hbar if it hits 40 cents, which I think the next boost will. It might need a little bit more than the rate cut news. It might be the rate cut news and then another piece of information, maybe something with ISO coins or even anything that's good for the narrative that HBAR's in, any of the narratives. It'll piggyback and move up, meaning people time news. If you haven't noticed, companies, the media, Trump and all of his companies have mastered this. They share good news at the best time to be given good news, right? So let's say if XRP, for example, has some great news that comes out right around the same time as the rate cut, obviously XRP is going to go up, right? I'm not saying it will, using it as an example. But then other coins similar to XRP will go up and piggyback on it as well. Short version, I think HBAR has a very good chance of hitting about that 40 cents. And I've got a sell limit. It was at 42 or 44, forget which. And if it gets close, I might force it. But the whole reason why is my average, if you guys ask, I try to stay open about this, is just under 6 cents on HBAR. So even from where it is now on a lull, I'm still up about 4x. And if it gets back up to that 42 cents, I'm up 7x. I'll take some profits, 100 effing percent. I also only think H bar is going to get another 3 to 4x from there, meaning at the 40-cent mark. I see H bar at about $1.25. That's my belief. You don't have to agree. But with that belief of it only going 3 times further than 40 cents, why am I going to hold everything into H bar if I'm confident there's other coins that can do more than that? And I've already taken profits, right? So if I sell a bunch of my H bar, by a bunch, it's going to be somewhere of 15%, I think, of it. I'll sell around that 40-cent marker, presuming we get there, and I'll move that large group that I 7x'd into another crypto that I think can 4x or more that hasn't moved yet. And I've got plenty in mind. I share them with you guys in a few videos. I think someone recently, someone recently asked me in a comment, I gave you a whole little list of ones I'm looking at. It really just depends on how good they do, right? So, I mean, I don't know which ones I would hop into. It really depends on which ones go up how much, which ones retrace more. But I got a list of anywhere from like the top 100 large caps to some medium caps, everything from Avalanche, maybe more Solana, depending on how that one's hit, Aptos, looking back at an Ondo play, Beam. I got so many options. It really depends on what they do a couple days after a presumed retracement. So in that scenario, I'm selling so I can buy more that I think is going to make me more money. I'm keeping some in H bar. And that's the big one I'm looking at right now. That's the crypto I would end up selling some of. Now let's play this devilish scenario no one wants to talk about. What happens if a rate cut doesn't happen? So I think it will. At this point, I do think it will. I got nothing else to say on that. I think we're going to have a rate cut. But if it doesn't, my plan is pretty simple. When I'm probably not going to sell any crypto this month. Probably not, because I suspect things are going to go down short term, right? If we find out there's no rate cut, expect your micro caps specifically, they could get wrecked. Just letting you know. I'm not saying to sell them. I sure as hell am not. I'm not telling you to do anything actually with your money. It's your own finances. Do your own research. Talk to your financial people, not me. Well, I would wait for about a 15% decline on everything because most seem to drop 10 to 40% on big bad news. And that's why I'm not buying anything else right now. I'm saving up my cash just in case. And because again, the micro caps will get destroyed the most typically. So if you have your small coins, like the ones I own, Foxy and ASM, if we do not have a rate cut, those will probably get slammed more than like Quant, HBAR, Render, Aerodrome. It's the way the market works. They also might already be at their bottoms and we don't have to worry much about it. But if we don't have a rate cut, I'm just holding. I'm stacking up cash right now in case that happens. And if it doesn't happen, then me and my wife can go on a really big Michelin star dinner, or I've got leverage money to play with when all shit goes loose and we have volatility going up and down. But as simple as a plan that is for no rate cut, I'm not buying anything. I'm doing nothing. I'm just waiting for a 15% drop in the market and then I'll scoop up more crypto. That's a plan. I think everyone should have something like that, or at least admit the possibility of no rate cut occurring. So this way it doesn't surprise you as much and you panic, what the hell should I do? Should I sell? Should I buy? Should I cry to everybody? Plan ahead for it, guys. So final thoughts on this is I'm still more in the side of the thought that we're going to have the peak before the end of this year. And I don't have confidence in that. Not at all. The market does whatever the hell it wants, guys. But I think it's safe, or at least better for me, to believe that we're going to have the peak of the market before the end of the year. The reason why is if there's two main thoughts, right? Either we're going to have the peak October, November, or it was going to be January to February. Now we hear more people say March and April. And at a certain point, that's people just getting afraid, right? That's just nerves to an extent. But if I assume it's April and it ends up being December. And I did not sell because I thought that the peak was coming 4 or 5 months later. I'm screwed, right? Missed it by 4 months. Same thing if you think it's going to happen in January and it happens in November, whatever. So if I believe it's going to happen, let's say December, right? And things go pretty well and I start selling as if it's in alt season, maybe it's just good and it could get better. As long as it's good, I'm going to be selling, because then if I'm wrong and I only make money and then things continue going up, one, at least I made money. Two, if I took profits, that means I can stay in the market, right? I'm not going to just sell everything, walk away, watch charts, and record to you guys, hey guys, I'm doing nothing because I'm out of the market. Fuck no. Sell things that are in profits, whether it ends up being the peak of the cycle or just a good part of the cycle. And I'm going to stay in the game, even into the bear market. I'm going to stay in the game. My strategy will change. Right? I'm not going to be huddling microcaps going into March if I think we already had the peak. I'll be doing a lot of staking, a lot of maybe liquidity pools. That might be too early. Might be getting into leverage trading, shorting the crap out of everything. So I'm in the market no matter what. So I'm going to assume it's going to happen sooner. And I'm going to take profits that I need to, because I have a goal. My goal is not to make as much money as humanly possible. That is a silly goal in my mind, because now greed is leading you and you don't actually have a plan of when to sell. I've got a financial goal. I got to pull out I think it was roughly 80% of my crypto to hit it at certain prices. I'm well on my way there. And once I hit the goal, I'll sell everything. But then I still have money left over to continue playing. And so that's the main reason I'm going to act as if this end of the year is the end of the cycle no matter what. Because I can still do shit and make money regardless. But if I think it's going to happen later and find out it already did happen, you round trip your bags. So that's my story. Hey, if you sat here and listened to it and you haven't already pressed the subscribe and like button, you might as well. But it's also important I just see you next time. I'll see you guys again soon. Peace.